The intergalactic diner hummed with the usual chaos of 1,000 different species trying to order breakfast. Lena wiped down the counter for the third time that hour, her eyes scanning the crowded establishment with practiced efficiency. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy for their hospitality industry. Something about their ability to read emotions and adapt quickly made them naturals at service work. The bell above the door chimed, and silence rippled through the diner like a shockwave. A delegation of Drakari had entered. Their scales shimmered with an iridescence that spoke of nobility, their massive wings folded tight against their backs to fit through the doorway. At the center walked King Vraxon himself, the Dragon King whose empire spanned 3-star systems. Beside him, almost invisible in his father's shadow, walked a younger Drakari. Prince Arden. Lena had heard the rumors, of course, everyone had. The Dragon King's son who couldn't speak, couldn't roar, couldn't produce the flame speech that was the hallmark of Drakari communication. In a society where one's voice literally carried fire and conviction, silence was considered a curse worse than death. The delegation took the largest booth, their movements precise and formal. King Vraxon's advisors immediately began speaking over Prince Arden, pointing at menu items, discussing orders in the harsh, crackling language of their kind. The young prince sat at the edge of the booth, his amber eyes downcast, his clawed hands folded in his lap. Lena approached with her datapad ready. "Good morning, your majesties. What can I get for you today?" The advisors rattled off orders without pause. Protein synthesizers, mineral supplements, hydrogen-infused water. King Vraxon nodded approvingly at each selection. No one looked at Prince Arden? And for the young prince? Lena asked, deliberately making eye contact with Arden. The table fell silent. One advisor hissed softly, "The prince will have what we order for him." But Lena saw something in Arden's eyes, a flicker of surprise, of recognition that someone had actually acknowledged his presence. His hands moved slightly, fingers forming shapes that most species wouldn't recognize. But humans were different. Humans had been signing to each other for thousands of years, long before they reached the stars. When humanity finally joined the Galactic Council, they'd been shocked to learn that most species had never developed sign languages. Why would they, when they could telepathically communicate or speak across vast distances or produce pheromone signals? Lena's grandmother had been deaf. She'd grown up with sign language as her second tongue. She set down her datapad and signed back. "What would you like?" Prince Arden's eyes widened, the vertical pupils dilating with shock. Around the table, the advisors shifted uncomfortably, not understanding what was happening. King Vraxon's head tilted, his attention finally focusing on his son. Arden's hands moved hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence. His signing was rough, unpracticed, clearly self-taught from human databases, but Lena understood. Pancakes, Earth-style, with maple syrup. I read about them. Lena smiled. "Coming right up, Your Highness." "The prince would like pancakes with maple syrup," she announced to the table. An advisor scoffed. "The prince doesn't—" "The prince just told me himself," Lena interrupted, her voice polite but firm. "I'll have that right out." As she walked away, she could feel the weight of King Vraxon's stare on her back. Drakari kings didn't tolerate disrespect, but they also valued strength and directness. She'd gambled, and she'd know soon enough if she'd won. 20 minutes later, she returned with their orders. The advisors' meals were standard fare, precisely calculated nutrition. King Vraxon's plate contained a carefully seared cut of synthetic meat that mimicked their traditional prey. And for Prince Arden, a stack of golden pancakes, steam rising from them, maple syrup pooled in a small dish beside it. The young prince stared at the plate as if it contained the secrets of the universe. His hands moved. "Thank you." "Enjoy," Lena signed back. As Arden cut into the pancakes, taking his first hesitant bite, his expression transformed. The loneliness that had shadowed his features melted away, replaced by something that transcended species' pure joy. King Vraxon watched his son with an expression Lena couldn't quite read. Then, slowly, deliberately, the Dragon King raised one massive claw and pointed at Lena. She approached, her heart hammering. "You," the king rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "You speak with my son." "Yes, your majesty. Sign language." I know what it is," The king's eyes narrowed. I did not know my son could communicate this way. His tutor said nothing. One of the advisors shifted uncomfortably. Your Majesty, we thought it beneath. Silence. The single word contained enough heat to make the advisor flinch. Vraxen turned back to Lena. You will teach me this sign language. It wasn't a request. Of course, Your Majesty, Lena said. I'd be honored. Over the next hour, the diner watched in amazement as a human waitress taught the Dragon King how to communicate with his son. Arden's hands moved faster now, more confident as he explained things he'd kept locked inside for years. His father listened, his massive claws forming the shapes with surprising delicacy. I'm sorry, King Vraxen signed clumsily. I didn't know how to reach you. Now you do, Arden signed back, and his eyes shimmered with unshed tears. As the delegation finally prepared to leave, King Vraxen approached Lena one last time. Humans, he said, his voice thoughtful. You adapt. You find ways to connect where others see only barriers. This is why you survive. We've had a lot of practice, Your Majesty, Lena said with a slight smile. The Dragon King nodded slowly. My son wishes to study on Earth. I had denied him before, thinking him unfit. I was wrong. He will go and he will learn from your kind. Prince Arden signed rapidly at Lena. Will you visit? Whenever you want pancakes, she signed back. As the Drakari delegation left, every patron in the diner watched in silence. Then someone started clapping a Crixian merchant with 6 arms, using all of them. The applause spread, a cacophony of appreciation from a dozen different species. Lena returned to wiping down her counter, but she couldn't stop smiling. Humanity had carved its place in the galaxy not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through something simpler and more profound, the stubborn refusal to let anyone go unheard. Even a silent dragon prince,